My name is Charles Scavone.
And I'm Laura Scavone.
Been a member of Grace for 4 years. We moved to the Heights about 4 years ago and started looking for a church home and came to Grace and were visitors here for several months, 4 or 5 months, and found it to be a warm and welcoming community and decided to join.
Well, I've always been a Methodist, so Grace was close, so that made it the first choice. And we wanted to be in the community, so that was important to us. We wanted to be part of this community. And when we learned that Grace had been here for 100 years, that made it even better. When
we were looking at Grace, we saw an opportunity to be involved and contribute in a meaningful way in a number of ways on a number of issues. The church body was beginning to grow. There were new initiatives, and we saw a number of positive things on the agenda and felt as though in a smaller church community such as this versus where we had been previously, there was an opportunity to be more directly involved and have an impact, whether that was through a capital raising campaign, the regular tithing, or even through service work as well. And I think that was an attractive feature for us.
We take a pledge when we join, and we take a pledge when anyone else joins to give our gifts and our service and other things. I was raised to give, so it's a habit, but it's a good habit, and when it's a habit, it's a lot easier to give than, I don't even think about it.
If it weren't for the regular contributions of members at Grace, then no one could plan whether or not there'd be lights. No one could plan whether or not there'd be a yard crew that could come and cut the grass.
Well, they support the cost of running a church, and they support programs and mission outreach. So a number of things.
In addition to the operating costs at Grace, Grace has been at a point where that's all we could really think about initially.
When we have special offerings at the altar, I give knowing that it's going to go to a specific mission outreach.
The food bank has been a big part of Grace for a long time.
Since our clientele list numbers have dropped, we don't limit our service to just certain zip codes, but all over the city. So that's a good mission outreach. But we have done other things since the hurricane came. Our young families have coordinated outreach missions, which were fun.
As the demographics of the community change and we're seeing more and more families moving into the Heights, the idea of the children becomes increasingly important. If you want to have a thriving and a growing church body, you have to accommodate families better, which means the need to accommodate kids and get the kids involved early and have them have a sense of belonging and involved in the church. So the ability to do things like that I think are very important, and they have a meaningful immediate impact and a longer lasting impact in that it helps us create or sustain a more vibrant church community that crosses all different aspects of a family's life.
Being able to get into a position where we can hire somebody that can actually create a Sunday school program for the children and hopefully for some of the adults and the families is critical for our church. We can't have the babies with the toddlers all getting the same lesson anymore. We've got too many. So, and that's a good thing. The church slowly is getting to a place that we're going to be in a position to be able to reach further and further. And I think that's a good thing. Right now, we haven't really been able to, or up to now, we haven't really been able to think about that. It's just trying to keep our heads above the water. I just think that when you're in a church this small, there is no question that you need to do your part, because it's not like you're in a church of several thousand people and you can always think, oh, I think they have more money than I do and they can do it. So it doesn't work that way.